I'd like to call on Commissioner Watts to introduce his guest to do our invocation.
Thank you, Judge. I wanted to introduce Keith Fisher this morning and his granddaughter, Libby. Libby is soon to be our valedictorian at Iowa Park High School, and she has been accepted to Harvard University. Libby, I remember when your mama was in school. Keith Fisher served with me for an extremely long period of time on the Iowa Park School Board, the bank board at State National Bank of Texas. So, Keith, I appreciate you coming this morning and assisting Libby, and I'd ask Libby if she would mind to do our prayer this morning, open court. So, Libby, if I could have you just kind of come forward and maybe right down here, and you just have at it, girl.
All right, should I face this way or this way?
This way, you're fine. You're perfect.
All right, please bow your heads with me.
Thank you.
Dear God, thank you for giving us all the opportunity to meet here today. In the coming year, please guide these county officials to succeed in all their endeavors and help them make decisions that promote the well-being of all Wichita County citizens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Libby. If y'all would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excuse me. And now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please. We do have a couple presentations this morning, so I'd like Commissioners Harvey and Watts to join me out front, or y'all stand here and I will hand them to you here, either way. Where do y'all want to?
Go out front.
Whoa, Grace.
Oh, I thought you'd already went by, boss. I don't need this to.
No. All right.
I'm a little taller than you, but I'm pretty whatever.
Yeah, but not much. Okay. It's my pleasure today to present these. I'm going to read both of your names in this one because they say the exact same thing. Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to Commissioner Owen Lee Harvey and Commissioner Jeff Watts for 5 years of service to Wichita County. Congratulations on reaching your milestone service anniversary. Through your hard work, dedication, and loyalty, Wichita County is able to provide quality service to all citizens of Wichita County. In honor of your service, we are pleased to offer you a choice of anniversary awards. Please accept your gift as an appreciation and expression of our gratitude for the contributions you continue to make every day. On behalf of the Commissioners Court, we commend you for your service and wish you every success as you continue your career toward your next milestone. Your commitment to Wichita County is deeply appreciated. Signed this first day of January, Woodrow W. Gossam, Jr., Wichita County Judge. Sir, congratulations. It's been a fast 5 years and it's going on more. And Jeff?
Judge, thank you
Yes, sir.
very much.
Mm-hmm. Turn it around.
I'm pretty sure we would have had that there.
Very good, Sheriff.
We can't see anyway.
We appreciate it, Patty. I just want to say that and Lee's already embarking on a new adventure. It was a great adventure coming on board, and I felt like where in the world has 5 years gone to? Like
Yeah.
a blink of an eye. And I think we've been fortunate to get to do a lot of things, hit the ground running. We've got a united team. Keith Fisher can attest to what a united team can do. We've done that for a long time, and he taught me. So I appreciate being here and appreciate working with all of you guys.
Same here. Same here. All right.
Thank you. Congratulations, yes.
Let Nancy get by you.
5 years, I just killed you. Judge, you don't give a commissioner who's on a diet a certificate to Krispy Kreme, don't
Just because you got it doesn't mean you have to use it.
Man, I'd give it to Mark. He's the only one can eat it.
All righty. Sheriff, is your individual here?
He works nights with since there's a multiple hour shifts now, a little difficult for him to get up there.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to break up his beauty sleep, no. So, okay. Will you make that presentation then? Okay. All right, we're down to the part to take any public comments. Anyone in the audience have anything to bring up? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda then. I appreciate a motion from the commissioners to adopt the consent agenda unless you have questions
Judge,
on
I
it.
make the motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, sir.
I had a question on item number 5, and I called Robin, and I thought, well, that's a lot of money. But this is for our brand new facility that we're building right now, and this will be in our training room. And I talked to her, she shopped this pretty hard, so this is a really good price. So I know it's $5,000, but it could be a lot more if we didn't do our due diligence. And I just wanted to point out that it is for our new facility, and we're just getting ready for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, all in favor of the motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Muller, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 1, I'm sorry. Number 2 is discuss, consider, or take action. Whoa. We do have item 1. Yes, I'm sorry. People would appreciate this. Review and approve the regular bills for payment.
So moved, Judge. We reviewed the bills on Friday.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the bills?
Wish they were less.
Yes. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 is to discuss, consider, take action to approve a quote from Wilson Office Supply in the amount of $1,999 for 7 office chairs for the law library with payment from 2020 budget line 242.400.3150 office equipment by transfer of budget line as assigned by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham?
It's really not my.
Oh, it's
item,
not?
but No,
Oh.
I did visit with them, though, and they've already received those chairs, so
Okay.
What did they do with the old chairs?
I have no idea.
Well, I need some, and I don't need
I
new.
imagine they were probably wore out, but I'll find out.
Okay.
So I motion to go ahead and approve since they've already been delivered.
Okay, good.
I visit with them and asked them to, from now on, to coordinate that through our office, because we've been shopping a lot of furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a second?
A second. Motion.
Thank you. Okay. Any comments or questions, anyone in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is being removed. The Sheriff, Constable Black is working that through your personnel, so we stick to the same kind of tasers and all. That's part of the budget policy in that. We'll move on to item number 4, discuss, consider, take action to quote from Dino Tree Service for up to $1,500 for tree trimming around the fiber optic network cable at the courthouse and repair of a tree to be paid from Department 510, major category budget with specific lines to be determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, I had Dino's already scheduled last week to come and repair the tree that fell, part of it fell earlier last year. He's already had them on site, and we got the call from the city of Wichita Falls that our fiber optic cable was being damaged by the trees along Travis. I went ahead and had them take care of those while they were here.
Mhm.
The actual quote ended up being $1,460, so work's already done, but that
You've
was.
done a good job for you.
Yeah.
Very
It was essentially an emergency to get that taken care of so they could patch that fiber optic cable and get us back online.
Good deal.
So it'd be my motion to accept the $1,460.
And it looks like we got a chance to save that tree.
Yeah, I think we saved it, yeah.
Which
They
is
did a
really
really
good.
good job taking the weight off of it
Yeah.
and cleaned it up and
Those
saved
don't
it.
come easy.
No.
Second motion, Judge.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments, questions, anyone? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, yes, sir.
Judge, I'd like to go back to item 3 for just a second.
Yes, sir.
This taser deal, we told everybody that they needed to go through Darrell for that,
That's correct.
so that we would have
Correct.
good pricing and we'd have parts. But does that need to be approved by the court, or can they just order
No,
it?
he can get, no, it doesn't need to be. He brought it in because of the amount. He thought he had to have it this way, but
Okay.
actually, we have that budgeted. That's all to be purchased through the sheriff's department, so we have consistency, in
Yeah, that's what
those
we all
products.
agreed on, that we
Yeah,
wanted, you got 15 different brands of tasers, and you don't.
Yeah, there's certain ones, and the newer ones are out, of course, you can buy 3 pistols to do one new taser, but the flip side of it, the liability's a lot better than a $1,500 taser than
Yeah.
the, 50-cent bullet.
My question is, can the constable just go through Darrell and get it without
Yes.
having to come back through?
correct.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
said, we already have it, we're gonna get it, to Lieutenant Prince, and he'll get it ordered when it comes in, we'll issue it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only question I
That's
have.
what, yeah,
But I like the continuity, I mean, that's good business.
That way, we also maintain serial numbers and maintenance of it, and, something happens to one of them, we know exactly which one it was.
Yep.
Everything's logged.
well, and if you get into a taser fight, well, then you can trade out.
Every time they can test it, everything, there's a computer log that we can download, showing every time it's been pulled, and how long it's pulled for.
Good,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, we can tell, everybody, you're supposed to test them at least once a week, take the cartridge off and dry it, fire it, just to make sure that battery, is working properly.
Sheriff, do y'all actually tase each other in training?
There are people that,
Y'all do?
that, they volunteer for that. When we first got them, I was,
No way.
I did not volunteer for that, I didn't make lieutenant at that time by making silly decisions, that was one of them. I expected the next thing we was gonna do after volunteer to get shot with a pistol, well, I make a little extreme, but I don't know.
No.
We got beat up enough, that's why we needed mats, because back whenever I started, and probably Rutledge as well, there was some kind of cloth on the floor that you got thrown on, but it wasn't a pad, I assure you.
yeah.
Well, if you can take a laser shot, you can take a bump on the head, I mean, come on. Just concrete.
Bumps and fractures.
Yeah,
that
just
kind of thing,
concrete.
too, But that taser, it is significantly reduced injuries with deputies in
Mhm.
contact with individuals that they have to fight with, because they know what that thing will do. And, you get one guy that runs for somebody, he gets shot, and he falls and flexes both his eyes and cracks his nose open and knocks a tooth out because you lock up. He'll come back and he'll tell everybody, they'll shoot you right in the rear end of that thing. 'Cause don't run from it, they're mean. So,
Target of opportunity,
you ain't kidding.
yeah.
I've had enough electric fences and magnetos, I don't want any piece of that deal.
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough. I've been
Oh, it ain't nothing
all my
compared to
family-
that taser.
No.
No.
That's what I'm saying, I've had, it's
That's
bad
enough to convince you you
That's
don't
enough
wanna be
to make me
tased,
not
yeah.
do that, yeah.
Yeah, or that, in the old TVs, touch that capacitor.
Oh, yeah, it knocked you down.
Yeah. All right, item number 5, receive update on Law Enforcement Center and Amoresco projects. Commissioner Beecham.
We really didn't have a full meeting on the Law Enforcement Center last week, but did walk the project and had a brief meeting. Everything is moving along. I never cease to be amazed that you can skip a couple of days of walking through and you come back and it's a whole new world. And they're really working hard out there and coming along really well. The sales should be starting delivered next week and start staging and putting the sales in the ag seg area and the medical areas, so it's moving along quickly. Amoresco project, did get some good news last week. We received a check from Amoresco due to a rebate from Encore of $17,149.39.
Here.
So, wasn't as big of a rebate as what we had originally anticipated, but we did get one, and there was some question as to whether or not we were gonna be eligible, so we did get one, so. That project's just about complete. I'll be sending an email out to everybody countywide today to be sure to report any problems that they have with their temperatures or their lights or anything, so we can get those addressed while they're still on site, because they'll be packing up and leaving in about 3 weeks.
Okay, very good. Appreciate all your efforts in that. Okay, we're down to anyone in the audience have any comment? Elected officials, department heads, citizens? Okay, Commissioner Beecham.
I have nothing, Judge.
Commissioner Harvey.
Lots of things going on. We, again, the Redneck Culinary Academy fed the Iowa Park Volunteer Fire Department, Saturday night, chicken fried steak. I'm gonna tell you, we order that stuff from Red Barn Butchers, and he cuts it up, tenderizes it. Some of them steaks are as big as the plate, and, they're so good.
Now, is that the Union Boy?
Yeah.
W?
That's him.
I believe it is.
Yeah, it is.
But, anyway, appreciate those folks in Iowa Park. Lewis Skinner, I guess, is their chief over
Yep.
there, and he is dedicated to them people. It was a lot of fun. They had a really good turnout. What else did we do? Something else. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, that was Saturday
Okay.
night.
All right.
And it turned out pretty good.
Commissioner Muller.
Junior Livestock Show kicks off at the Impact
Thursday.
on Thursday. They're moving in and getting ready today, as a matter of fact, getting started. And one of the really most competitive county junior livestock shows you'll find in this country. I tell you, the competition's tough. We've got a lot of good young people doing a lot of good things. So get by. They'd love for you to come by and see the animals and show up for the premium sale.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
And it doesn't, whether it's $50 or $500
You bet.
or
There's a place for you.
$50,000.
Absolutely.
There's a place for you.
There's a lot of add-ons from good people in Wichita County. That were from all over.
Now, I can MC the lamb show.
That'd be good.
What?
Well, we got an email from the McAllisters, and, you know,
Yeah.
we as commissioners have always announced the show, took different days. I cannot be there on the 9th.
But can Mark do the chickens and the turkeys?
I can't think of anybody that'd be better. I can't think of a better fit.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
We'll look at that, make us a plan back in,
Can I make that motion, Judge?
turkeys, chickens,
I
rabbits.
know that would work well for me to do that, but are you not able to do the big show? 'Cause
Yeah, I do the pig show on Friday.
with Barry,
I'll help
because
you
y'all
with that.
talk back and forth.
Right,
Kids.
but I've gotta be in Cook County at a candidates forum on the 9th.
What day is
I
that?
think that's Thursday, but
Today's the
Well, that's
6th.
the day the lamb show is, I think.
well, I can't.
But you helped me on the lamb show a little bit.
When Lee and I work together, we've only been thrown out of that place once. So maybe it won't be.
We've never been
But
thrown
if
out.
you don't share it, you can't talk the next morning because you talk yourself.
Yeah,
Don't forget Willie.
we'll get the list.
Yeah.
But for the premium sale, they would like us all to be spotters,
What time does that start?
6 o'clock.
6
Is it
o'clock,
at 6?
On Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
So,
I think I can do that.
they enjoy watching us mess with people. Did you, no, I didn't. That's still a lot of fun.
Leave my bid alone.
Yeah.
I tell you, and the one great thing about that show, and Judge Gossip, you've said this many times, those are not the kids you see in
No,
juvenile
sir.
court, and that makes a huge difference, so.
And Judge, if you set in on any of that.
That's what I was trying to look at.
Just feel free to come and help and talk, whatever.
You know, University Kiwanis Club always does our ribbons.
Yeah.
And Judge, you could probably do that for a
Yeah.
couple hours.
They've been a sponsor
Well,
of this thing.
yeah.
For 100 years.
Which remind, you know, and
But there's nothing that goes on, no show will go on Saturday, only the premium
Only the
sale.
premium sale.
Right.
They're gonna think,
No, the horse show's
oh,
Saturday,
I'm
Y'all
sorry.
always forget the horse show.
It
the
is.
horse show.
And
And it's,
that is very big now.
I was gonna say, the horse show is starting to be
I'm
well
there
attended.
every, almost Saturday.
That's right. So that is, and there's a lot more added event. Don has always done a terrific job there.
Yes.
But you have always, Lori, provided your own, you have your own MC, and Don helps with that function too.
Yeah, because we've never been offered one.
Okay.
Mark would love to do it. He's not doing anything Saturday morning.
I
love being volunteer
They
for
always
it.
forget the horse show.
But Lori, aren't we doing something with horses through the ring at the sale?
Not this year. Well, next year,
Okay.
next year.
That'll be good, and that'll be exciting too.
But the horse show, yes, we're even starting, earlier this year on the horse show.
Now, there is no horses go into the sale,
No.
Not this year.
okay? But there will be next year.
They're
Okay,
supposed to
good.
be next year. Yes, they all have to
Those certainly are not meat horses, so.
No dog food advertising. All right. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, sir. Judge, I have a bunch, but I want to start out with Neo and pass it to him. Eric, Neo set out for you on, everybody's got in front of you that Rachel deal, and I just wanted Neo to give a very quick overview of what we're doing.
Thank you, Commissioner Watts. So as you can see, there's a small packet really shortly. We're using the new application. It's a software meant to bridge the gap in communication between the actual job site and the office. Commissioner Watts wanted to experiment with this and see how much it can actually help us. So this is at the front page. We can just see the reports, time cards, photo management, project dashboards, executive summaries. Right now, we're utilizing the most photos and reports. Daily reports, as you can look at the next page, will be done each and every day at the beginning of the day. Photos can be implemented as well, so every single day there's a set of photos, and so we can see the progress and track it over there. As you can see, there's weather tracking in different times, time cards, material, general notes, as well as custom job work logs, and etc. The next page, there are surveys, so we can make sure there's no accidents. If for any reason there's a delay, we can check the weather for that day and make sure it was a justified delay. Also, we can see if there was rented equipment, if there's anybody that was visiting the site, and a bunch of photos really. And that is about it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I wanted you guys to stay involved with us because all this is a history of our projects as we go through here and the way they score up and keep. And of course, you can see the photos. I want you to point out on the third page down here in the bottom right-hand corner. That was Saturday morning. That is on the starting on the far left is going to be John Jones, the neighbor to Hal Williams out there that's spent his life in heavy-duty construction. That's John Jones on the far left. That's Bo Bailey next to him, Josh Morgan in the middle, Randy Catlin next to Josh, and there's me on the end in that light-colored jacket. So I wanted to get a picture of all those guys. They helped me move equipment over from precinct 4 back to the job site. But anyway, I also want to point out on this specific job, and like Barry Muller's told me many times, and that until Barry's told me, I didn't realize, a waterway, it's a great thing, and the design of waterway, and we're exposed to it where we live, and very active farm people that participate in NRCS programs there, but they have a life. And that life is 20 or 30 years, and they silt in, and they're doing their job. They're working when they do that. And so I was telling Randy Catlin, we were talking about this, and every 75 to 100 years, you gotta address some of these things.
I've got something like that.
Because this thing has grown up on us something awful.
Okay, let's talk about something. Let's talk about when we have a disaster and floods, whatever, our FEMA tracking.
Well, let me tell you this is ideal for that very thing.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
gentleman understands how to do it. But let me tell you, Lee Harvey, I've got bigger plans for that. This county should not be solely on their own to go out and address these problems. And you get on the phone, which you have done, and spend just as much time as I calling everybody under the sun, and nobody has a responsibility to help us with this problem. And when you get to Washington, D.C., I expect you to get us the money to do this kind of thing with it.
Barry and I spent hours trying to find a government agency that would guide us, find some kind of grant money to do Gilbert Creek. Gilbert Creek is still plugged up.
It's worse than this deal.
Well,
It was one of those situations where we finally got around to an agency that said, well, we're really not in charge of that. We don't have any way to help you. But y'all better get that straightened up, or we'll come cite you and give you a fine.
And
I
before you
mean,
start
that's
working,
exactly-
call us
Call
and we'll
us
give you a
and
permit.
We'll give you a permit,
But
and
I
we'll
thought you
fine
said
you if
you're
it's
not.
not done right, but we can't help you. We can't design anything, we can't do anything.
But let me tell you, and I thought about this, a lot of people tell me, a lot of people have said, you know, my very smart sister in Amarillo told me too, she said, you know, Jeff, freshman, a congressman, it's hard to get him much accomplished. There is a story in the Bible about a lady that goes to a judge and pesters the living hound out of him for a deal. And the Bible's clear about the fact that the judge he's not even a Christian judge. But because the lady wears him out, he grants
I
her
remember
what
that.
he wants because
Get
he
out of
wants
here.
rid of her. And I expect to do
Well, there is one thing to look at, Jeff, and this is something that we meet with a member of the Texas Water Development Board, that's at our State Stormwater Conservation Board meeting every other month. And he and I got in that discussion, and one of the constitutional amendments that we passed in this last election granted the Texas Water Development Board the opportunity to find and use some funding for flood control that actually added that to their deal. Now, we gotta figure out how we're gonna do that, but we don't need to let that lie. We need to take advantage of that now that it's on the books, and I've already told them we would be glad to be a test project for them if they want to come to Wichita County, because we've got several of these projects that need to be encountered. So that's there, and that's one of the things that I'm not gonna let up on. We meet with them every other month, so let's get this funded and let's get it going. Because
That'd be awesome.
that authority has been granted. There's not any funding there, but it's just a matter of putting it in place. And we need to be at the legislature this next time lobbying for funding to take care of that stuff.
And y'all listen to this, and Lee, let it register with you. We got over, Brent Gatlin came and helped us, Precinct 4, on Brogdon Road, changed the caved-in humongous drain coming through Leech Creek that feeds this horrible project here. And we couldn't get the culvert needed in there because on the east side of the drain was over 25 flow lines in a spider web manner that most of them had rotted into, left there. I was sitting at Brogdon Road, I called the Railroad Commission, and they said, Commissioner, I hate to inform you, but the Railroad Commission has no jurisdiction over flow lines whatsoever in the state of Texas.
Wow.
I said, I
Really?
can't believe that. But let me tell you, I'll address that with these lease owners themselves. So Judge, tell me why, when I called Texas Energy and White Knight, both involved here, both had purchased leases. This was created by Arcadia back in the 70s, and they hadn't been touched since. But both of those companies acquired this. They bent over backwards to jump when I asked them to do, because I just told them basically I'd like them to come and remove them before I remove them from this drain. And they both responded and have been responding promptly. Why are they responding to me like that? I mean, is there something you're aware of that I'm not aware of?
It's illegal to run a flow line through a culvert, okay? They cut corners. They didn't hire somebody and bore the road.
Yeah.
Okay? They just run it through the culvert. And so they had no right to be there to begin with.
So I'm confused with the Railroad Commission saying they have no authority, because if you cut it, if you cut the flow line, then you're gonna
If you
pay a
cut it
fine.
and it's leaking oil, that oil company's gonna get in trouble, okay? But I know, Mark, I knew that all these wells, what had happened, the Railroad Commission in the past year plugged all the wells on these things.
Yeah.
They had to go, and our tax dollar paid to plug those wells. So these flow lines were running to nowhere.
Nowhere.
But they weren't made to take up the flow line,
Yeah.
only to pull the pipe out of the ground and cement it.
Right.
They left them laying.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about worse than a spaghetti bowl.
Yeah.
When you stick in there to dig, I've never seen nothing like it. Catlin spent all day Saturday on the dozer, grabbing a hold with chain and pulling them out. He worked from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock that afternoon, doing nothing but pulling flow line out of the ground that were headed to nowhere. You talk about flow line that started going in the ground in the 20s, and have a problem, they just layer another one. Then, when iron got too expensive to do it that way, there's poly pipe that just make and all this stuff is catching brush and everything else, trying to go down a drain, it's holding it like crazy. It's beating this thing, never stop.
Well, whenever I was out there, Randy was pulling the flow line at that time, and it was probably 150 feet long, chunk, it's rotted, it was horrible. And I said, "Where'd you get that?" He said, "Out of that dadgum ditch." He said, "Look over there." There was a pile of them over there, that they had just pulled them out, just stacked them up.
It's unreal.
It's unreal,
Well,
yeah.
I'm out of time. Two things I just got right quick. Let me tell the commissioner. I'm meeting with J.B. Klausner at 12 o'clock at Fort Worth. Okay, so Road Tech, which is the machine that Freeman Paving has, I've been on a mission for 2 months to try to get a commitment from either Freeman Paving or Wilson Construction on my grind. Cannot get either accomplished. I called Road Tech. Road Tech says, if J.B. Klausner has new used machines, he will lease you to do your stuff with. I talked to J.B. He told me that on 700 series like Freeman used for us, a big machine, legal width, but it's overweight, weighs 80,000 pounds. He can deliver it to us. He can pick it up from us, but we're responsible to put it everywhere we need to in between. $27,000, that's it, Lee. $27,000 for 2 months to use that machine. He said, "Jeff Watson,
Okay.
I can teach you."
We were paying Freeman $5,000 a mile.
I know.
And they did that in a day, a mile in a day. So that is dirt cheap compared to what we've been paying.
I agree.
Now, what about the maintenance on it?
Well, I'm meeting with him to go over some of these details at 12 o'clock. And he said, "Jeff, I can teach you to run that machine just fine and dandy. And there's no issue. You just have to be prepared to move it from location to location. In 2 months, we can grind this over."
Okay, we have the ability to move the machine because of the trailer that I bought.
Okay, that was my next question.
Is it long enough?
So I'll have more detail.
Hopefully.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I'll have more detail next week on this issue here.
Okay.
Well,
And then-
the other thing I'm thinking is, you've got to have the money then to replace those roads that you can grind. You can grind more than I think you
Now,
can.
Judge, I would rather have a ground road smoothed out with the grader, packed back with my equipment and left as it is.
Okay.
Than what I'm driving on right now.
All right, okay, just wanted
That's what my,
to, yeah.
and so anyway, that's where precinct 4 was headed with any of this stuff because of,
Well, you rent it and we'll use it.
Wagner called me the other day and I was with Wagner and they said, "Jeff, they understand why you just don't take this stuff out of the way and put them gravel road and keep them smoothed out. We can't fall off in these pits out here."
Yeah.
And anyway, I'll have more information for you. But I said, Willie Wall, the question that hit me, and Sheriff, I need help on this. And Willie, you assess the situation, and I just haven't evaluated it, but Judge, you can tell me about this. So the last trip headed to Austin, Texas that I took, as I'm coming into Decatur, Texas, every 2 miles, I'm running into highway patrol. Every 2 miles, they've got everybody and their dog pulled over for speeding. Then it hits me, who's getting the revenue from that deal?
The county that the ticket's issued in.
This,
They get a portion of the money.
And where is my highway patrol every 2 miles, giving Wichita County the revenue off of that? So I had Debbie call and get the fines and fees budget structure from the county, because they, and Willie, correct me if I'm wrong, but Decatur, the county of Decatur, population, I would say, is somewhere around
Wise County's got like 59,000.
half the size, less than half the size of Wichita County. Over $5 million in fines and fees coming into Decatur, Texas. Wichita County, 6.5 million, would it? Somewhere in that neighborhood.
no. No, I wish it was, but.
Nowhere near.
Now, think about
Their
that,
fines
guys.
and fees been going down.
How much overall, Willie?
The county's only getting about $250,000.
Yeah.
Less than $500,000.
We tried last year for budget to get the data from the JPs on county fines and all the citations our deputies give out, which, you know, they do give out several of them. And we were told by the JPs that they don't keep up with that anymore, they don't have any way to track it.
Well, that,
Before Tyler and all this mess.
that was before.
Right.
Somewhere in the communications, they quit turning that over at someone's guidance. Nobody knows who someone is.
Exactly right.
And now when we get they're just about to get all the GL codes straightened out for the pre-January 1. The legislature came through and did a major revamp to the fine and fee structure and grouping of the fees. So it's causing a major redo of that and new GL codes. So, and then you'll have this deal to deal with pre-January 1 versus post-January 1. So as they're collecting and sorting that out, it's
But
not good.
Same thing with CVE citations. We're keeping track of it in office, but we couldn't get anything back from them at the time, how many we were writing.
Yeah.
But now, okay, so Willie, revenue from revenue from ad valorem tax, $48 million. Where am I getting $6 million from fines and fees? I know that $250,000 what you're talking about, but I'm talking about the overall flow of sources outside of ad valorem tax. That figure is close to $6 million for revenue.
That's the fees of office and
Not necessarily
miscellaneous
fines, but the
revenue.
fees.
Yeah,
and-
No,
but
they're
that's,
third.
that's the comparison I'm making of Decatur.
Pretty sure.
I'm using their same picture and our same picture. The county half our size should not have nearly the same money as we do. And one of the reasons is Highway Patrol in Decatur working
Yeah,
right and left.
third month, 20.
And we're not getting that same benefit. You follow my reason? It hit me like a ton of bricks when I went through there and thought, why are we left out? Or why that counts just because it's a regional hub for DPS with the full benefit? And we're left in the dark.
Yeah. They've probably got more, well, their volume of traffic there is coming through Decatur because the intersections of 380, 287, and several other roads, and the truck traffic you have there is a whole lot denser than here. Yeah. Okay, anything else, sir?
That's it.
Okay. Noon tomorrow over at Wichita Falls City Hall will be the Census 2020 kickoff. And the big thing, of course, it matters more to cities and school districts getting good census counts so that they can draw down federal fund relative. The county, we gain when we have an increase in population, and it makes the people that do different investments in businesses and things look at what your population is. And when we hit over 100,000, we immediately picked up quite a few other things that, not major manufacturing unfortunately, but different things in the way of retail and food and all that, that base on 100,000 population. So it would be really neat if we could see between a 6 and 10% growth in population instead of a 3%. The other thing is Friday is the Nortex County Judges Meetings. It's on the schedule, I'm not sure. Commissioner Beecham, Public Health District, if I go to the Nortex thing, will you be able to make public health? Okay, and then Saturday night is the Freeburg Cooper Volunteer Fire Department banquet, so I know I won't be at the sale on that time. And then also that morning is a group of us gathering at our church to pack food can't remember how many thousand meals it is for the Rise Against Hunger project, so Saturday's fairly full as it is right now. Okay, anything else? All righty, it is 10:42, and we are adjourned.